Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a warm welcome to the 5th CIPM International Research Symposium on HRM 2021. We'd like to say a very big thank you to the organizing committee by the Standing Committee on Applied Research and Knowledge Center. Just to bring you a quick recap as to what's been happening throughout the day, we had a number of participants joining us virtually online, and here at the HR House, a little bit of a difference as we have our panelists joining here together with the organizing committee, bringing to you live and keeping the whole event live and active throughout the day. We had the inauguration ceremony at the start, which was followed by the keynote address and a panel discussion. And following that was the technical session, which was a short while ago, the track sessions, which was held. And now we have the case studies session, followed by the valedictory session, which will be coming up shortly. To take you through the case study session, as we see a number of contributors over the following months, we invite Dr. Prabhashini Vijayawanta to do the honors. Ladies and gentlemen, your thoughts.
Every one of you joining us here today. So this is the new cadet feature for the 5th International Research Symposium by CIPM. So this session is one operating teams of Sri Lanka share their best HR practices with us as case study. So let me introduce the chairperson and the co-chairpersons of this session, which is devoted for presenting the best HR practices of corporates during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. So the chairperson of this session is Mr. Janaka Kumarasinghe. Mr. Janaka Kumarasinghe has performed the roles of an HR officer to director in a number of organizations locally and internationally. He was a past president of CIPM Sri Lanka and Asia Pacific Federation of Human Resources Management. He is a non-executive director of Valuable Finance Private Limited, chief operating officer of 1 Billion Technologies Private Limited, founder director of Kentridge HR Consultants, and a visiting lecturer of the University of Melbourne. Mr. Kumarasinghe has earned his Bachelor of Commerce from the University of Colombo and the Masters from prestigious National University of Singapore. He is also a member of CMA Australia and a certified member of the Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing. He is a member of the International Editorial Advisory Board of South Asian Journal of HRM, a stage publication. The coach session is Mr. Ken Vijaykumar. Mr. Ken Vijaykumar is the Director of Human Resources at Waters Edge Limited, and he holds over 30 years of experience in the field of human resource management and general management. He has held several senior managerial positions in a number of leading corporate entities, locally and internationally. Further, Ken is also a senior faculty member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management since 2008. Ken holds a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Peradeniya and a postgraduate diploma in management from the Postgraduate Institute of Management, University of Sri Lanka. He is the current Vice President of CIPM Sri Lanka and is serving in the CIPM Executive Council for the last 5 years and is a renowned motivational trainer and a lecturer. Other co-chair of this session is Mr. Priyanka Ranasinghe. Mr. Priyanka Ranasinghe is the Director of Human Resources of Coca-Cola Beverages Sri Lanka Limited, and he counts over 20 years of experience in the field of HR, having held senior HR positions in multiple countries. He has a master's in business administration from Ashburn University, UK, and a national diploma in human resources management from IPM Sri Lanka. He also possesses a postgraduate certificate in HRM from the Postgraduate Institute of Management, University of Sri Lanka. Mr. Ranasinghe is a council member of the CIPM Sri Lanka as well. So now I cordially invite Mr. Janaka Kumarasinghe to chair this session. Over to you, Mr. Kumarasinghe.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar. Let's go start. Let us start because we have this time we have around 7 case studies. Try to manage time. So I'm sure there are very good case studies. And the first will be the human capital management in Haley's plantation beyond concepts, theories, and dreams, by Anuradha Gamage, the General Manager, HR and Corporate Sustainability, Kalani Valley Plantations, PLC, Sri Lanka. So let's listen to Mr. Gamaga's presentation.
Good afternoon to you all. I'm Anuradha Gamage, General Manager, Human Resources and Corporate Sustainability, representing Haley's plantation sector, which is the business leader in overall plantation business performances. We are belongs to Sri Lanka's largest, most diversified, best performing conglomerate, the world of Haley's. In Haley's, there are 16 business sectors, and plantation is one out of 16. Coming to Haley's plantation sector, we have 3 large regional plantation companies, Talawakality Estate PLC, Kalani Valley Plantation PLC, and Horan Plantation PLC, which are the best rankers in overall plantation business performances at the moment. Dr. Roshan Rajzore is the Managing Director of Haley's Plantation sector. Haley's Plantations at a glance. We are managing 26,137 hectares with 60 estates, tea, rubber, coconut, cinnamon, and other plantation crops. We are managing 21,000 plus direct plantation workforce and 131,000 plus resident population. This is the overview, the business summary of Haley's plantation sector, including three of our regional plantation companies and our marketing arm, Map.Ts. This is the spread of our estates across the country. We are representing, except Uva region, we are representing almost all the agroecological zones in the country at the moment. This is our business model. We call it our business philosophy, which includes 4 pillars: purity and food safety, ethical business, environment, and society. With Mabrock brand, our global presence is there for more than 50 countries in several continents. Managing human resources at Haley's plantations. Actually, human resource management in entire plantation industry is itself a challenge because of the complexity of the inherent culture and diversified workforce and community. We at Haley's Plantation has given the leadership in the change. And in 2013, we have launched first ever HR strategic plan in our company, and aligned with that, we have introduced our most innovative and unique HRM model, while valuing and respecting to the conventional human resource management practices as well. And going beyond that, inculcating best human care and knowledge management practices to the model. Merely introducing only conventional human resource management package into plantations created various challenges at the beginning, such as challenges on traditional data management, cultural challenges, challenges in application of digital management systems, inherent negative approaches, transparency challenges. Therefore, our unique and innovative human resource management simply beyond the usual employee management, that is total human resource management package in Haley's plantations, is equal to conventional human resource management practices plus human care for 24 hours into 365 days from birth to death, not only for our plantation workforce, but also for our plantation community as well. Considering the conventional human resource management package, human resource management practices in the employee life cycle at Haley's plantations, from recruitment to retirement, the most significant change we did was digitalization of HR best practices in employee life cycle. With the critical time limitation, in this presentation, I will elaborate the most critical and significant aspects such as performance management and L&D. In performance management, we are the first plantation company introduced the world's best cloud-based human capital management model, Oracle, For non-executive and operational workforce, which represent 93% of our total workforce, we have introduced the internally built performance management digital platform. We call it You Are Identified, with real-time data supported with our MIS and decision support systems. Thereby, we have accelerated the process of converting conventional plantation management model to the modern plantation management platforms. With this, we have enhanced the transparency and speediness of the communication and accurate decision making in our plantation business process, which has helped us to be ourselves most competitive and get the competitive advantage over rising local and global competition. Coming to L&T, Helix Plantations introduced various learning series. One of the best one we introduced was Helix Plantations Technical Learning Series. This is to enhance technical knowledge, know-how of specifically in our plantation field staff members. This is the internally designed 4 months training program, certificate training program. We have completed the first batch. The graduation was concluded at last month of March. And beauty of this program is 95% of the lectures was conducted by the internal resource persons. The balance, we have invited the expertise from Faculty of Agriculture, University of Peradeniya, and research institutions. Aligned with the technical skills development program, we have took part the national NVQ 4-level training program for 120 field staff members, which was a collaborative effort from TVEC, Employees Federation of Ceylon, and ILO Colombo office. We are proud to say we are the first plantation company in the history which produced 120 field staff members with NVQ 4 level with first ever national skills passport concept. This is how Helix Plantations communicate on our technical skills development program to our internal employees. Coming to Helix Plantations digital learning series. This we have launched actually during the crisis period, the pandemic period. Every 2 weeks time, we are conducting 1.5 hours guest talk, inviting Sri Lankan and the international guest speakers. Helix Plantations Global Learning Series. This is actually we designed for our executive and management staff members to get them for the exposure, the foreign exposure in the developed countries such as Japan and Malaysia. Every year, with the collaboration of AOTS and Dastica, we are sending our management staff to Japan, see the best practices on leadership, senior leadership development, corporate management, business innovations. And the last batch we sent in 2019, a full batch, 25 numbers. Helix Plantations Mindful Living Series. This is to enhance the power of mindfulness at work. Helix Plantations Youth Learning Series. This we have launched specifically focusing on the youth in our community to enhance their knowledge on the best management disciplines like HR, IT, and so on. Helix Plantations Green Learning Series. As you all know, our business DNA is embedded with the nature. To enhance the knowledge on natural sustainability, we have developed this program to give the know-how on natural sustainability to our workers, community, specifically the school children through pioneer clubs in our states. These are the results on L&T. You can see from 2015, year-on-year increase on sector training investment. But you may have a doubt whether we have cut down the training budget in last year. Actually, it was not the real fact. Please bear with me till the next slide. You can see the most critical two other KPI, L&D KPIs, sector training headcount and training person hours. 95% of total training headcount and person hours in last financial year are represented by the efforts of our internal resource person. That's clearly indicated. We never cut down on our training budget. We have performed these two KPIs much better than the other years during the crisis with the challenges. Coming to the most important part of our human resource management package at Helix Plantations, human care for 24 hours into 365 days, not only for 21,000 plus plantation workforce, but also for 131,000 plus plantation community from birth to death. To drive this, we have launched our HR strategic plan in 2013. Aligned to that, we have introduced first ever health and well-being policy. And also, we have supported with our existing CSR initiative, which has signatory to UNGC and launched in 2006. The concept is Home for Every Plantation Worker concept, contented family life for all at Harris plantation sector. This concept has 4 pillars: living environment, health and nutrition, empowerment of youth, community capacity building. And under these 4 pillars, annually we are conducting various programs to uplift the quality of life and quality of work life of our valuable employees. These are key value drivers we have given to all our employees in all 3 languages. This is mainly to balance their quality of life and align that with worker productivity levels. We have given the leader's visionary card to each and every employee in all 3 languages. This is to align the way the leader thinks on the business performances and also to align that the way of thinking with the rest of the employees. The targets cards, we have issued this with the daily targets. What is their responsibility to make our business a success, the sustainable profitability end of the day? We never forgotten their recognition and motivation. As you see in these pictures, we have changed the traditional attire in plantation sector, and we have given these attractive and protective uniforms. And also for tea harvesters, we have given scientifically designed tea harvesting baskets. And also every year we are conducting best harvesters competitions to motivate our most valuable workforce in the estates. And the winners, we always given them the foreign exposure, and some of these winners, they never visited from plantation region to Colombo even, but they were fortunate enough at Harris plantations to visit the countries like Singapore. And annual staff recognition ceremony, every year we used to conduct this ceremony, and last, which was at BMICH Colombo. HR strategies adapted to control and spread of COVID-19. BRC, ethical and sustainable, responsible plantation business sector, leading plantation business sector in the country. We never forgotten to respect the national health and safety guidelines during the COVID. We have given these facilities to the field level, and at the moment, we have minimum damages, and we were continuing all throughout during the pandemic and make ourselves as a successful business sector and contributing to national output as well. Finally, our aim is responsible profitability. For that, we exactly know to strengthen the foundation. Foundation is our human resource management, human capital management. So we know to enhance their competencies, commitment, and passion will definitely add value to the responsible profitability end of the day. With all that, we were able to make the change in the industry from conventional or the traditional plantation management to the modern plantation management techniques. All these efforts were recognized at local and international awards and recognition ceremonies. So we were the Overall Excellence Gold Award in 2018 and 2019 at National Business Excellence Award organized by National Chamber of Commerce. We were the first plantation business sector won the Overall Excellence Gold Award with several other accolades. And also, I'm not going to read out everything. We won each and every award in the country, the Green Awards, Presidential Environmental Award, CA and SAFA Annual Report Awards, and so on. And most beauty of our journey, we were the first plantation company who won the National HR Excellence Award, Gold Award in 2016, and we were the winner of Great HR Practices in 2018 and 2019, organized by CIPM Sri Lanka. And also, we were the winner of Asia Pacific HRM Awards in 2017 and 18, and also Global HRM Awards in 2017. Our entire journey with the unique HRM model in Harris plantations help us to enhance the quality of life and quality of work life of all our entire human resource base. And finally, added value to increase the level of productivity and to be the leader in many intra and industrial benchmarks and platforms in local and global business scenarios. Therefore, human capital management in Harris plantation is beyond concepts, theories, and dreams. It is way beyond the conventional employee management model, and it is absolute human resource management model. Thank you very much, and thank you very much CIPM Sri Lanka to give us this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Gamage, for that presentation covering a very important segment of our economy. To give a brief comment on that, may I invite Mr. Ken Vijay Kumar, who has experience in Sri Lanka as well as in Malaysia in the plantation sector.
Good evening, Mr. Kumara Singh and Mr. Anasingh. By going through this particular presentation, I think from a conventional plantation management to a modern plantation management, yes, of course, the plantation industry has got 160-year history. So from the traditional plantation management to a modern plant management, but this presentation looks good, great. They have done a lot of work. To see modernization, digitalization, etc. And also, they have made won some awards previously of the CIPM. It's good. However, if we could have done, some facts on how many COVID cases they had, what are the challenges during COVID period, during this COVID period, what are the challenges they faced, how they would have managed COVID spread in the plantation sector. I know there were cases in Verelia district on the third wave, Talawakali district, and in around Hatton area. So where Haley's plantation estates are present, so they would have touched upon little on how they face the challenges, how they manage it. It would have been better. Also, and how they are going to, look at future of work at the plantation sector should have been better. So even, those two are my comments. So over to you, Mr. Kumar Singh.
Thank you, Ken. Now we come to the second case study, challenges and the roles of HRM professionals during the post-pandemic of COVID-19, a case paper with reference to Hambantota International Port Group Private Limited. To present this case study, there will be Mr. Jeevan M. Premasara, Senior General Manager, HR and Admin, Mr. Buddhika Sandaruwan, Senior Manager, HR and Local Affairs, Mr. Hasita Lakmal, Manager, HR Services of Hambantota International Port Group Private Limited. Over to the team.
Good day to everyone. We are from Hambantota International Port, and we are here to present our case study of how we successfully manage COVID-19 at our workplace. So this is a joint presentation, and with me, we have Buddhika and Hasita joining from the HR department. First, I would like to give you an overview of our company and the business. So Hambantota International Port is comprised of two companies, Hambantota International Port Group Private Limited, which is HIPG, and Hambantota International Port Services Private Limited, which is HIPS. So this is a joint venture between Sri Lanka Ports Authority, SLPA, and the leading port operator from China, CM Port. Our vision is to become a world-class customer-centric seaport and a platform for business excellence. So it means our business areas are split into two main scopes. First is the port services, the other is the industrial platform. And we have 5 business areas that support the vision. So next, I would like to introduce our strategy of how we manage COVID-19. So our strategy had 3 phases. So I think everyone is familiar with how the number of cases developed in Sri Lanka over the last 2 years. So we had a 3-phase strategy to manage this situation. So if I explain these 3 phases in detail, our first phase started from the month of January, where we had the initial reporting of COVID-19 in the world. And we quickly adopted a strategy where we started observing and coming up with our own policies and procedures on how to face this situation. And from 27th of January, it took a new direction where we had the first patient in Sri Lanka, first case in Sri Lanka, where we quickly changed our strategy to ensure that there are no any cases reported within Sri Lanka which got transferred through Hambantota International Port. And the phase 3 started from 11th of March, where World Health Organization declared COVID-19 as a global pandemic, and it became a threat to international trade. And as a company operating and facilitating global supply chains, we had to change our strategy to ensure business continuity while maintaining health and safety of all the people connected with the business. At the same time, we had a national responsibility to support the Sri Lankan government to flatten the curve and maintain the situation within Sri Lanka. And next, I would like to explain about the responsibility we had in preventing COVID-19 as a company involving global supply chains. So in the globalized world is dependent on international trade. So due to social distancing, migration and movement of people and capital investments and other movements have stopped. But trade and logistics and information exchange is happening. So trade and logistics plays a vital role in continuing international trade. And as a port, we have a major responsibility to support this to keep the world moving. And next, I would like to explain to you our challenges and the main strategy we adopted to face those challenges. So mainly we had list of challenges, mainly how to maintain business agility and to ensure the adjustment of culture to this new normal. How do you maintain the well-being? How do you plan the preventive and emergency response activities? And in an environment where there's increased uncertainty, how do you manage the engagement? And when there's financial difficulty, business challenges, how do you manage the rewards and benefits? And while containing everything, how do you arrange flexible work arrangements to support the business performance? And of course, how do you come up with new policies and SOPs to face this new situation? So we had a approach, two main approaches to support this, overcome these challenges. First was the people first approach, which Buddhika will explain later. And then we have workplace arrangements, which Hasita will explain later. And finally, I would like to mention about the key component of our emergency response strategy, which is the Emergency Response Steering Committee, which is formed under the leadership of CEO and chief executive officers acting as vice chairmen, and all heads of the departments taking up a task force head role. So this particular committee worked hard to analyze the situation and give response to various emergency situations which happened within the company. So with that, I would like to hand it over to Buddhika to explain about our people first approach.
Thank you, Jeevan. Let me give a brief idea about our people first approach and the strategies we followed to ensure employee health and safety as well as enhance their motivation during the pandemic. Working arrangements. To ensure the health and safety of our employees, we introduced work from home concept and flexible working arrangements. Management instructed to all HODs to keep less than 50% of employees at office depending on the nature of the department operations. Simultaneously, management took a decisions to divide total workforce into two main groups and rostered them in a 14-day work pattern, introducing biobubble concept. Well-being and employee support. We provided COVID-19 safety pack for all employees to ensure employees and their family members' well-being. The packs were consisted with essential items that employees need to maintain good hygienic condition at office as well as at home. In addition to the safety packs, we provided essential food items to our employees during the lockdown period. Taking another initiative, we introduced an online system to order essential items and online doctor consultations to minimize the human interaction during the pandemic. Communication and awareness played a major role during the pandemic, and as the management of HIP, we started to provide updated information about COVID-19 to employees to make them aware about the situation of the country as well as the behavior pattern of the virus. Simultaneously, we arranged awareness programs using virtual platforms, employee engagement, and training and development programs. Even the world get disconnected due to the pandemic. We came up with the virtual platforms to maintain high level of employee engagement. We conducted all the events in our annual engagement calendar using online platforms and extended the level of employee engagement up to their families. We did not stop our training activities during the pandemic and converted all the trainings into the virtual platforms, and we completed as we planned. Recognition of efforts. Our head office recognized us as one of the best companies in CM Ports network who prevented and controlled COVID-19 successfully during the year 2020. We were able to achieve zero COVID-19 incidents within the Hambantota port during the last year. Social responsibility is going beyond the business. As a responsible company in Sri Lanka, always we take extra effort to ensure the well-being of the community around us. Even during the pandemic, we continued our CSR activities and helped community around the port as well as government institute in Hambantota district. So thank you, and over to you, Hasita.
Okay, thank you, Buddhika. I'm going to talk about the workplace arrangement initiatives that we have taken during this COVID-19 pandemic. As the first initiative, management established an emergency response policy and few SOPs. So let me discuss workplace arrangement related initiatives one by one. First one, emergency medical care readiness. Under this, first of all, we established a COVID-19 suspect emergency transfer plan in line with government as well as the CM Port rules and regulations. To facilitate this, we arranged a dedicated ambulance with required PPs. And also we established isolation centers at 5 different locations at the port premises. Secondly, we ensure personal hygiene and workplace hygiene. Basically, we facilitate to establish hand washing areas with required facilities. Further, we establish disinfection chambers in main operation areas. And also, we arrange hand sanitizers for our all office spaces as well as the elevators. In the meantime, regular housekeeping practices such as cleaning, wiping, disinfection of all spaces and equipments were carried out twice a day. And also, we disinfected all common user vehicles before and after using it. Thirdly, regular health monitoring and information record also ensured. Under this, each and every visitor should complete a health declaration form before entering into the port premises. And also, regular temperature monitoring also carried out. Further, I would like to say that so far we have conducted 1,663 PCR tests. Let's discuss about the canteen, transport, and other facilities we have provided to our employees. Strictly adhere to the social distancing practices, which including keeping 1 meter gap, 1 person for 1 table policy. And we segregated meal time to avoid unnecessary congestions. Further, we arrange transport facility for our own employees' doorstep. Finally, we introduced new IT platform which included mobile phone-based attendance recording system instead of traditional finger scanning machines. Thank you. Over to you, Jivan.
Thank you, Buddhika and Hasita, for your detailed presentation. Now I would like to present the conclusion, the summary of our experience and the new work arrangement practices we have implemented in our future management. So the biggest thing we have achieved is in 2020, we had 0 COVID-19 cases. And in 2021, this year up to now, we have had only 3 cases, which we have successfully managed without any complications or spread. So the biggest result is that uninterrupted business continuity. while maintaining health and safety of all people connected with our business. So through the people first approach and flexible working arrangements, we have given enough freedom to our staff to work, manage work-life balance, and confidently work to continue to support the business through their performance. And one important factor is that we have managed to adopt latest technology in many management areas, processes, and especially when it comes to HR, recruitment, training, communication, employee collaboration, engagement, all these areas are now mostly conducted through new technology platforms. And our management has changed the approach to their performance management as well. Rather than daily supervision of work, we have now adopted a system where you give clear KPIs to each individuals, where irrespective of from where they are working from, they will deliver the result. And this situation has helped us to develop mutual trust as well. Employees have developed further trust on management. They are complying with the guidance and the SOPs given by the management. At the same time, management also has developed trust on the employees, where employees are working sometimes from homes, but still they believe that and that they will continue their performance. So during difficult times of the business, sometimes we had to manage the cost. Cost efficiency became important. So certain rewards and benefits had to be adjusted. But when the business is now picking up and the revenues are now adjusting, management has returned or reverted the benefit and reward adjustments back to normal. So employees and management are working together with mutual trust to overcome this situation. And finally, most importantly, as Hambantota International Port, as a responsible organization in this region, in addition to contributing to economic development, it is our major responsibility that we support the social development. So through this COVID-19 disruptive time period, we have managed to give our best support to the development of the society in our common fight against COVID-19 prevention. So with that, we wind up our presentation. I would like to thank CIPM for inviting us to be part of the International Research Symposium. And I would like to thank everybody for listening to our case study and would like to open the session for any question and answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Premasara, Mr. Sandaruwan, and Mr. Lakmal for presenting how HR has contributed to the business continuity. To comment briefly on this thing, may I invite HR Director with international experience, Mr. Priyanta Ranasinghe from Coca-Cola to comment on this.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar Singh. Good evening to Mr. Kumar Singh and Mr. Vijay Kumar. So it was a very well coordinated presentation overall. These three gentlemen, they have done a wonderful job. Hambantota International Port is considered to be one of the economic hubs in Sri Lanka, so that we all know that. And very good HR practices have been adopted, so that is also a very good sign from HR practices point of view. So they have had a three-phase strategy. Especially the prominence is given to the health and well-being. So that is a very good sign from HR practices point of view. From health and well-being point of view, people approach first and work arrangement. So that is something that we all have to pay attention on during this COVID pandemic situation. So we have to ensure the people, the well-being of our people. So they have taken a lot of preventive action plans to avoid COVID-19 pandemic. And they have done 1,000+ COVID PCR tests. And also they have had only 3 cases. So that very clearly shows that their HR practices and COVID preventive practices have really worked in that organization. So that is really, we really appreciate, and your effort is very well appreciated. And they said that the mutual trust has been shared on gain and loss basis. So that is very good. Some people, they gain only the losses. Some people gain only the gains. But you guys have, in a very mutual trust manner, you have, shared the loss as well as the gain. So from the best practices point of view, I think one gentleman explained about that they have done a employee engagement kind of activity, but still, if you can do a pulse survey to see how employees are engaged and what kind of comments and feedback that they have during these difficult times, at what level employees are really engaged. So that would have been a great practice. Most of the companies do pulse surveys considering certain best HR practices as well as how company responses for this COVID-19 pandemic situation. So you can have two parts to this survey, and implementing a pulse survey would have been a great practice for Hambantota International Port. So overall, thank you very much for your presentation. It was a very well coordinated one.
Thank you, Mr. Ranasinghe. We go to case study 3. Challenges and the roles of HRM professionals during the post-pandemic of COVID-19. Case study from Sri Lanka Telecom. To present this, we have engineer Mr. KPW Asiri Indika, Deputy General Manager, SLT Talent Development Center, Sri Lanka Telecom.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Asri Indika. I am the Deputy General Manager, Talent Development Center, Sri Lanka Telecom PLC. On behalf of Sri Lanka Telecom, today I am presenting a case paper on challenges and the roles of HRM professional during the post-pandemic of COVID-19. I will start my presentation with industry overview of Sri Lanka Telecom PLC. As you all know that Sri Lanka Telecom is the national ICT solution provider and leading broadband and backbone infrastructure service provider of Sri Lanka. Company has over 163 years of history, and customer base is over 9 million and employee base is over 10,000. And when you talk about the financial performance of the company in 2020, company has recorded LKR 91.1 billion revenue in the 2020. This is the highest revenue earned by the company, history of the company, and revenue growth of 6% and the operating profit growth of 36%. And company has contributed LKR 17.0.6 billion to the government as the taxes. And when you talk about the risk and challenges during the pandemic, and as you know, the government has declared telecommunication as an essential service. Therefore, the company has to implement our business continuity plan immediately. And to do that, our top management people presented for the office every day during this pandemic time period, and technical teams designated to attend all service inquiries, and 24/7 customer care services we have introduced, and provide remote access facility for employees, those who are carrying out the duties through work from home. And under the health and safety aspect, we have introduced health and safety protocol for the employees and provide PPE and sanitizers for the employees. And we have facilitate PCR test and antigen test for the staff members and their family members who associate with COVID positive patient. We have introduced 3 kinds of work modes. First one is called work from home. Second one is called work from home. The second one is we use for those who, some of the employees, they don't have required infrastructure facilities at home, therefore they can go to the nearest workstation and carry out the duty. Third one is called home to field. Technical people, they can directly go to the field to carry out their duty rather than going to the office. And under the teamwork, we have established vigilant committees and provincial vigilant committees with the representative of management, trade unions, and employees. The purpose of this committee is to report the prevailing situation of the country and what is its impact to the SLT business and the operation. And also we have provide intermediate quarantine facilities for the employees for the treatment at different hotels in Koggala, Wadduwa, Kandy, Mount Lavinia, and Kabbenthota. And you can see in this picture, during this pandemic time period, our technical people attending to a fault with following the proper health and safety protocols. And when we talk about the COVID-19 assistance for our employees, and under this chapter, I divided into 4 categories. First one is called the monetary assistance. Company has paid risk allowances for the employees during this pandemic time period, and the company has paid full payment of salary for the employees. And not only that, the company has paid the transport allowances even though they are working from home, and for the company has given allowances for the internet usage And at the end of the year, company has paid bonuses for the employees. When we talk about the medical assistance of the company, and company has facilitated random PCR and antigen tests for the employees and their family members. Company has established isolation rooms in every office and arranged hotels to accommodate the infected employees. And not only that, company has facilitated employee family members are also covered and take care similar to the all employees, and established company retreat center at Nigambu. And also company has allocated LKR 6.5 million to purchase PPE equipments for the employees, such as face shields, IR thermometers, disposal masks, disinfectant, sanitizers. When we talk about the other assistance to the employees, the company has provided essential food items for the employees, those who are carrying out the duties at the regional areas. And company has allocated LKR 6 million monthly budget to provide the transportation arrangement for the employees, and provide a laptop and PC for the employees, those who are carrying out the duties at home, and provide the internet connectivity to the employees. And when you talk about the employee recruitment and the development, we have continued this, our recruitment and the development part of the employees. The company has recruited 1,800 employees from human capital services to the SLT within 3 weeks during the pandemic. And also not only that, company has recruited new talents of engineers, accountants, TTO, IT and network officers, and software developers to the company during this pandemic. And also, company has converted their traditional classroom-based training into online trainings, and 1,609 participants were participated for the online training. And also, company has introduced the new training mechanism to conduct skill assessment to identify the competency gaps of the employees and reskill the employees in the redundant jobs. And also, you know that telecommunication industries, the technology is changing day by day. Therefore, we have to develop our employees. For that, we have conducted training on key global digital trends like artificial intelligence, data science, Power BI, data analytics. Not only that, company has conducted their digital transformation of the recruitment process, introduced online application, introduced online interviews, introduced online examination, and digitalization of the promotion processes. Now you can see in this picture, the bottom part of the picture shows that company has conducted the recruitment examination for the engineers, more than 381 candidates. And the top part of the picture shows that company has facilitated our facilities to IESL to conduct the examination. And as I mentioned, we have introduced several online trainings, e-learning, and we have converted our certification from manual to online, and we take the feedback through online. And this is the Smart Technician program. We go to the field and we evaluate all the technical staff members, their competencies. Based on the competencies, we are mapping the training. After the evaluation, they have to follow this training and they have to redo the training. And the objective of this program is to develop multi-skill workforce for the company. And when you talk about the SLT contribution to support combating COVID-19, and we have introduced new solution in order to analyze the mobile subscriber data to track the infected person and the movement of the potentially infected person. That mobile has supported to the government. And we have connected prison with Skype technology, and we have introduced new packages for encourage online education. And also we have introduced customer care digital portals in IVR Care Act 24/7 customer care services, SLT broadband portal to get additional GB through online, and we have introduced chatbot solution, and also we have introduced online bill payments. When you talk about the contribution to the health sector, we have donated PPE to hospitals like IDH, National Hospital, Lady Ritway, Apeksha Hospital, Army Hospital, and also we have introduced digital health services, and also we have introduced 1999 Health Promotional Bureau helpline and 247-1247 Sri Lankan Medical Association hotline, and also we have provided video collaborative platform solution for hospital to monitor the COVID-19 patients. And also in the government side, the company has invested more than 350 million to safeguard the Sri Lanka to stay at home and to stay connected. And also company has donated LKR 50 million donation to the COVID-19 Health and Social Security Fund. And as a CSR activity, company has donated dry national packs for the general public, those who are having financial difficulties, and donated 1 million masks among the general public and for the free data. And you can see in this picture, so the first picture, the company has given the services to the prison, and the second one, company has distributing the face mask among the general public. Third one, the distribution of providing a healthcare 50 million to the government, and also providing a ICU bed for the hospitals and for the dry rational packs for the people who those who are having financial difficulties. And not only that, we have expanded our coverage for the rural areas to provide the online education for the students. And we have provided a smart classroom for some of the schools to carry out the online educations. And you can not only that, we have introduced new packages for the students, we call A-level Kupia, and also we have introduced new platforms called SLT Link. It's like a Zoom platform. You can conduct the meetings through this platform, and you can do your education. And also those employees, those who are carrying out the duties from work from home and frequently using the platform like Microsoft Teams, Zoom, we have introduced new packages with the lower rate. And we have introduced some digital platforms like to pay the SLT bill online and chatbot solution and get additional EB through online. Some of the digital platform we have introduced during this COVID-19 pandemic time period. And when we talk about the future projection in the next normal, I have divided into 4 categories. Number 1 is called employee development. Under the employee development, we are promoting online training and e-learning facilities among the employees. And also we are planning to develop smart classrooms to conduct the online training more productively. And we promote and continue this skill assessment program to develop a multi-skill workforce. And also we are re-skill the workforce for the redundant jobs. And also we introduce quiz and hackathon program to develop a learning culture for the company. And also finally, we are planning to build a digital savvy workforce of the company. When we talk about the digital transformation, we are planning to automate all the processes, and we have established research and development unit and do the research and development activities of the company. And we are taking the decision based on the data and the analytics. And we have introduced artificial intelligence in call centers and some other sectors. And we promote the work options we have provided during this pandemic for the staff, work from home, work from home to field. And when we talk about the culture, organization, the people, we are planning to build a digital culture and also to develop a passionate and productive and self-driven workforce in the company. And also organization redesign and the talent management is another area. And finally, workforce enable. With these strategies, we are planning to take the market leadership and provide the value for the shareholders. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Asirindika, for presenting comprehensive activities done by Sri Lanka Telecom to ensure business continuity. I think during the pandemic, Sri Lanka Telecom services became an essential service to continue life such as hybrid working, hybrid learning. So I think the HR has contributed a lot to ensure that business continuity. And you have shown that in your presentation. As an area for improvement, maybe if you would have taken few of these things, salient things which would have impacted more continuity, then the presentation would have been more have done a lot of activities, and it shows the commitment of HR towards the business continuity and people's safety and health. So without much ado, in the interest of time, let's move to the next presentation. Case study 4, COVID-19 preventive interventions of Samson Rubber Industries Private Limited. To present this, Mr. Amita Kumara Dokumitanage, Assistant General Manager, Cluster Human Resource, Samson Industries, is invited.
First and foremost, I am very grateful to CIPM for giving us this opportunity to present the case study of COVID-19 preventive intervention of Samson Rubber Industries Private Limited, that's called DSI Tire. And I am Amita Kumar Dokumitanage, AGM Cluster Human Resources and like to share our experience with you today. The way forward of the presentation you can see. So we will give some insight in line with this point in order to what we have done in order to control the COVID-19 pandemic inside the company. The background of the study, the unexpected COVID-19 outbreak reported on 20th March 2020 enormously impacted on our whole operation, and all the plants were shut down. But the management immediately appointed the COVID-19 steering committee to come up with some interventions to control the situation and establish the smooth operation. So the main purpose of this study is to present the effectiveness of the practices proposed by the committee. And before I go into detail, this is the introduction of the company. DSI Tire was established in 1983. And this is the member of DSI Samsung Group. And we manufacture pneumatic tires, tubes for local and export markets. And we have around 3,000 number of employees working in the cluster. And DSI Tire is the market leader in bicycle tire, motorcycle tires, three-wheeler tires, and hand tractor tires, and all the category of tubes. And preparation of the company to face the COVID-19 pandemic, and we developed 7 policies mentioned here. So I will give some insight in line with all these policies. The first one is the emergency preparedness, health and safety practices. And you can see we use the source proposed by the WHO. And this is the base of controlling all our employees' behavior inside the company. And the second one is the health and safety practice. Starting from home, pick up and travel, we introduced the dedicated transport mode to pick the employees at their homes. And the self-screening process was explained to all the employees. And now they are very well practicing. And we check the body temperature, wearing the mask, and keep the social distance even in the traveling. And the next policy is the health and safety practice at the main security point. As you all know, the basic functions with relevance to be done with relevance to control the COVID-19 pandemic, we follow the same procedure and follow the health and safety procedure at the gate. And then the questionnaire used to screen all the employees and visitors. If there is any deviation at the gate, the company nurse handles the case under the regulations defined by the government. And the next, health and safety practice at the locker rooms and the workplace, and separated locker rooms given to all the employees, avoid to cross the department, and sanitize the workplace at the defined intervals, and prevent unnecessary gathering, and provide the facility to wash, sanitize hands, and inhaling the steams, etc. And the next, health and safety practice at the canteen and the restroom, and you can see in the picture, and the separated and the covered places to have the meal, and the meal packet given, and the hot water and the other herbal drinks also we give. And each breaks, we sanitize all the canteens, and convert the hand operating taps to the sensor modes to avoid the unnecessary touch up of the surfaces. And then the health and safety practice, the general guideline, and assessing the family members' health condition also done, not only assessing our employees' health condition. And we manage the overall process of visitors' arrival and the proper disposal of the consumable used by the employees, managed very well, and the effective and efficient guideline to handle the positive cases in the cluster. We continuously do the PCR and antigen test, and the direct employees to get vaccine is the part and parcel of all this process. And the health and safety practice at the working at the office, and all the executive and above employees help us to control the shop floor employees' behavior, as well as they play a role model and a big role in managing this pandemic inside our company. And the government, all the practices executed by them, and involving the more online interventions to minimize the physical contact. And we introduce the work at home practice to them, and they follow the defined roster also. And the main point of my today presentation and the challenges of executing the COVID-19 pandemic in our cluster. And the number one is to remove the fear factor among the employees, what we did, and we explained the overall process to the employees in our 10 cells and made them understood. So this company is very safe place to work. And we implement the hygiene practice at the outside boarding places of the employees also. And the next challenge was they recruiting the shop floor employees to the production process to the cater for the higher demand. And we used the online recruitment and we coordinate with all the government agencies and get the database and coordinated with the people to get the required cadre and deploy. Then the developing the relationship with the neighbors around the plant is also a challenge. And we explained to all the neighbors so what we are going to do and what we are practicing. And they were well convinced. And they also help us to continue with this process and ensure the safety of the employees who deal with the external parties and the subcontractors. And we guided all our employees when they exposure to the other third party in order to control this pandemic situation. And the next point, the achievement of the company during the COVID-19 period. As I mentioned you earlier, we are having the remarkable demand from locally as well as international, and our people are taking all the initiative to cater for the demand. And while catering for the higher demand of the production in the tire industry, we won the mention awards through this competition. You can see the extra large category rubber tire, the gold award, and the product brand of the year bronze award, local brand of the year bronze award, and the best digital campaign of the year silver in 2020. So that is a fantastic achievement of all the contribution made by all the people in this company. And these are the sustainable initiatives of the huge challenges of the pandemic. And the management decided to provide all the facilities to the steering committee to continue all the practice. And they gave all the feedback, guidance, and advice to the committee. And the monitoring and the screening is done frequently. And we maintain the amicable relationship with the government and the authorities and the other organizations. We established the practice through the guideline mentioned above. Employees are motivated to be vigilant what is happening in the workplace and think out of box to control the impact of the COVID-19. And finally, I want to highlight the fact that employees and the management can together overcome any unexpected challenge. And the management admire though and appreciate the contribution made by the employees. And the company has looked after all the requirements of employees. So this is the story of right level, amicable relationship between employees and the management. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Amita Kumar Lokwitanage. To comment on this, I invite Mr. Ken Vijay Kumar.
I think, Amita, it's impressive presentation in the sense whatever practices they have practiced during COVID, as well as they have got awards as well. So which shows that, you know, they have engaged the employees during the pandemic times. I think they could have just little bit numbers they would have given, you know, how many got infected, how they managed it. It would have been added value to the presentation. Any infected cases and how did they go about managing. Other than that, the presentation was good. So you can go ahead.
Thank you. Case study 5 in a unique challenges and the roles of HRM professionals in government during the pandemic. Special attention to Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission. Dr. Dilrukshi Herath, Deputy Director, Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission of Sri Lanka, will present now.
Good afternoon. I am Dr. Dilrukshi Herath, working as the Deputy Director in Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission. Today my presentation is going to case study paper on challenges and the role of human resource management professionals in the government during the pandemic of COVID-19. special attention to the Treasury and Vocational Education Commission. First, I give you the brief introduction to my case study. The government institutions are mostly affected by this COVID-19 pandemic. As we are aware, all of the institutions, many of government institutions are affecting this COVID-19 pandemic because of their work with the public mostly. All government sector, including the vocational education sector and the policy making bodies and training providers in government, face the similar issues in with this pandemic situation. This government and has issued many of circulars and gazettes throughout this COVID-19 pandemic situation. It is decided to use the minimum number of workers, minimum number of employees for reporting for physically to continue the servicing to the public. So first I give the Treasury and Vocational Education Commission introduction. It is an apex body of Treasury and Vocational Education and Training sector committed to establish and maintain an efficient and effective technical and vocational education training system in Sri Lanka, which is relevant to socio-economic goals and changing labor market need. So in 2021 to 2030, it is named as the Decades of Skills Development by our President, and it is main goal is to population of unskilled labor to 10% according to the National Development Policy Framework. So it is many major important sector, this technical and vocational education and training sector. So when we come up the first wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, it is introduced the working from home concept. It is new to many of public servants working from home concepts. Then we introduced to online uploading and downloading facilities, for especially for a public, because of we are reducing move to the public and we are adhere to the health and safety conditions. Then we are offered some Tibet training by using television programs in this first wave of the COVID-19 pandemic situation. Then I moved to the risk and challenges encountered by government institutions. Many government institutions are adhered with these government gazettes and government regulations. It is challenges instead with the COVID-19 pandemic for the year 2020 are still affecting the government institutions. However, they were able to start providing their services to the digitalized mechanism. Technology is there, but we are normally doing our systems in this pandemic situation, digitalized our manual systems. So I moved to the corporate social responsibility. TV easy contribution to support combating the COVID-19. This pandemic is significantly affecting the process of our registration, accreditation, then the quality management system installation. Likewise, many processes are affecting this pandemic situation because we are long distance travel to visited our training institutions for registration and accreditation. But in this COVID-19 situation, we using some WhatsApp facilities and some giving some long period of time to the registration process. Accreditation time is extended likewise. Then TVC decided to provide the public with an online download facility for the national competency standard and curricula. Actually, first time we give it free of charge for this pandemic situation for a public to download their curriculums. Then we used some courier services as well as the scanned documents sent to the public for their if they want equal certificate, we send the scanned copy. Some evaluation, some e-professional reviews we have conducted And as well as we conducted some sort of online Viva test likewise. Then technology, I moved to the technology versus technical and vocational education system. To fit the present and social economic developments, vocational education and industrial enterprises training, skill-based teachers is the most important for the development of the vocational education, and it must be linked with the information and communication technology. So when we consider the future projection for the TVET trainings, it is major important that the TVET sector must be throughout the e-learning, blended learning, or the open distance learning mechanisms for their give quality as well as effective services to the public. Then some sort of processes like registration, accreditation must be a restructure. It can be more effective than the previous. So give the examinations, online examinations, then the OJT placement and OJT placement also online we can process. So also train of training can be offered more effectively through the online ICT using the ICT tools. In the future, it must be a more attractive quality learning culture built up upon the interactive videos with the teaching and learning in Tibet. So either by the skill-based training for the or the knowledge-based training, behavior-based training, likewise, it can be developed throughout the ICT tools for developed for this training. So we can use some virtual reality, AR, VR concepts and good, effective and efficient TVET system to the our national. Okay. I think that's all my presentation. Thank you. Thank you very much.
To comment on the presentation, may I invite Mr. Rana Singh?
Thank you, Mr. Kumar Singh. So being a government organization, we all know that, COVID pandemic preventive measures are a bit difficult compared to the private sector. So thank you very much, Dr. Dilrukshi, for your comprehensive presentation. Some of the suggestions for the presentation itself, especially for a PowerPoint presentation, if you could add some the pictures for your presentation would have been really great, because we all know that the images are stronger than words, especially when you do a PowerPoint presentation. So that is one of the areas for improvement. The other one is if you can, form a COVID preventive steering committee. So that also would have really added value the entire process. And also if you have, paid attention for health and well-being training programs to create the awareness and the importance of health and well-being during this pandemic situation, that also would have added a lot of value for your internal processes. So thank you very much for the great presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Rana Singh. Now we are going to case study 6, strategic directives of industry risk mitigation during COVID pandemic. A case study review in tile manufacturing company in Sri Lanka. Mr. Atula Hewa Patirana, Group Human Resource Manager, Lanka Tiles Group of companies will present now.
Good evening to all. Before starting my presentation, let me at the outset thanks to the organizing committee and the CIPM, especially giving me this opportunity to present my case study on the topic of strategic directives for industrial risk mitigation during COVID-19 pandemic. A case review in tiles manufacturing company in Sri Lanka. This is an evidence-based case study which is having success story mitigating the industrial risk of COVID-19 pandemic. My name is Atula Hewa Patirana. I'm a doctoral researcher, University of Kelaniya, Sri Lanka. As well, I'm a practicing manager having 3 decades of industrial experience, and also I'm an academic lecturer. The content of my presentation is line up from background of the company, introduction, outbreak timeline, the incident which was taking place on March 30th, 2020, and conceptual model. Finally, I will hope to emphasize conclusion of this case study as an evidence-based success story. This is an organization, multifaceted, export-oriented conglomerate, manufacturing and marketing high-quality glazed ceramic tiles in Sri Lanka, consisting more than 500 employees. The history of the company is spreading over 4 decades. In this slide, you can see the picture of the factory complex, which is fully automated plant by consisting of Italian technology. Market share of the company has been spreading all over the world, having highest percentage of local market share as a number one among the local competitors. As you all know, the outbreak of COVID-19 originated in the city of Wuhan, China, has caused significant damage to the world population and global economy. Then World Health Organization declared the new coronavirus to be pandemic. Business all over the world was forced to shut down their operation by closing factories, showrooms, workplaces. Outbreak time in Sri Lanka. The first local case COVID-19 was reported in second week of March. With that, the government was declared island-wide curfew, consequently locked down the entire country while closing all the schools, education institutes to avoid all public gathering. Further, it has been imposed travel bans to the international arrivals and introduced a concept of work from home and new normal way of living and working. Hence, this tile company also compelled to commence shutdown of business by closing all sales unit and factory. That is 20th March 2020 with a curfew. After shutdown, the management of the company just kept quiet only few days and commenced a limited operations of factory in order to complete few export consignment on 30th March 2020 by hard getting service of 30 employees by ensuring their health and safety. With that, it has been arranged 11 export consignment by 10th April 2020 and paid full salaries to all employees for the month of March. The next challenge was supply meals and minimize peer pressure of employees in respect of pandemic. We just started limited operation of cafeteria after negotiating with the canteen contractor. After that, we analyzed responsibilities and employers and employees' responsibility separately, which are accounted to mitigate COVID-19 pandemic risk by adapting to the conceptual model, which is emphasized from this slide. Accordingly, we established trustworthy culture by strengthening the employer and employee relationship further. Accordingly, responsibilities of management goes as establishing sustainability of business while ensuring employment of all employees. The responsibilities of employees goes as their behavioral change to comply all safety guidelines committed with highly organization citizenship behavior. Those are the elements of particular two dimensions. Further, we dive to the particular concept through another theoretical model called SWOT analysis. We realize the following individual elements under two topics of looking inside and looking outside. These elements are listed as challenges and demands. Under looking inside, it is strengths and weaknesses. Those are the challenges and demands. Improve workplace hygiene, resistance of employees working together, resistance of employees work with external parties, resistance of employees work with manpower, contract employees, misalign the assumptions of employees across the industry. Reporting summary. Sick employees. Accordingly, we found some solutions through these proactive measures. Under looking outside, it is opportunity and threats. Accordingly, there are some challenges and demands. Those are the challenges and demands. Slumming sales and stalling supply chains, lodging issues of employees, transport issues, reluctant to work with customers, and communication gap of employees, security issues. In terms of solution, these are the proactive measures which we took over to settle those things. Then the company commenced second phase of limited operations immediately after the new year with 144 employees. After April New Year 2020, just started around 50% of operation along with curfew passes. But next challenge was to confirm the health and safety of large crowd of employees. In order to comply the particular task, along with the set strategies, COVID task force was appointed by the management and they work to mitigate pandemic risk. Then they rearrange the cafeteria, employee workstations, factory entrance by fixing automated sanitizer bottles and washing facilities, social distance of employees. Those are they did through their creative and innovative concepts. I can call those things as a design thing. Those are some pictures for your evidence which they did. Further, COVID task force provided some concepts to address these issues as well in order to strengthen employee safety and health. The resistance of employees work with foreign technicians because those days there were Chinese technicians work with us. Payment of wages, non-working period, ensure health and safety condition of employees. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are in the conclusion stage of this case study. As we hit 1 year anniversary with this pandemic, our workforce has been traumatized and people have living in continuous turmoil. The company further researching about strategies to develop more while effectively surviving in the pandemic along with the concept of new normal way of living and working. And success stories, we are remaining our company production without interruption at least 1 day after started our full production on 11th May 2020. That was the date lifted curfew. That is our success story. In here, you can see some indicators of our success story. With that success story, the company achieved highest profitability of the company history in the last financial year, which was closer to 1 billion rupee, while mitigating industrial risk of COVID-19 pandemic with our strategies. Survival is very important. Changing our behavior through attitude, values, beliefs, and norms. It is very important factor. You can see this line of production details. In red line, it has of the actual production. It is similar to the budgeted value. The net sales value, that's the beauty, has drastically increased. In red line, you can see that figure as well. That's why that our profitability has increased during last financial year with the pandemic. With the particular strategies. These are the references that I cited in this case study. I suppose now picture is very clear to you along with these strategies, and hope it has been added value to sustain your businesses by mitigating industrial risk, fighting against the pandemic. Supplementary for the researcher. Thank you all. It's my pleasure to answer your questions, if any, more or less.
Thank you, Mr. Atula Hewapatirna, Group HRM Manager, Lanka Tiles Group of Companies, for that thought-provoking presentation. To comment on that, may I invite Mr. Ken Vijayakumar?
Actually, now for this presentation, he has brought that research element to that. So that's one of the positives. He has brought the conceptual model. He has brought the SWOT analysis, and also he has quoted the references. So that is, he has the presentation was well planned to give a research flavor. So which is in a research symposium, I would say it's a strength. Also now he has combined how they manage the people and how during pandemic period and how it has resulted in the bottom line in the business results, which is also another point, plus point I have observed. The only thing probably the next time when they improve, I think the PowerPoint is little bit cluttered and too much of information in the slides. But other than that, is a great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vijay Kumar. We come to the last case study of the day. I'm sorry, we don't have much time for Q&A because we have already run out of time. So the last presentation will be our experience in battling COVID-19 pandemic at ICC Private Limited. A case study from Sri Lankan construction company. The presenter will be Mr. GGTY Gunatilaka, Manager Administration, International Construction Consortium Private Limited, Sri Lanka. Over to Mr. Gunatilaka.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here with you today to share with you our experience in battling COVID-19 pandemic at International Construction Consortium Private Limited. I'm Tharindu Gunatilaka, the administration manager. So as you have seen, we are one of the largest and highest graded construction companies in Sri Lanka with over 4,000 direct and indirect workforce. Let me first establish why we call it a success. So we have reported less than 10 cases during the first 2 waves of the pandemic with no fatalities and no site closures. In the meantime, we have achieved our targets and secured jobs for the next year. And also we have managed to keep our employees happy and contented during these troubled times. If I was asked what is our overall philosophy towards managing this pandemic, I have 3 things to tell. First, confidence, particularly in our management, because we have gone through these sort of pandemics, these sort of bottlenecks actually in the last 40 years and came off successful. And our focus, we didn't focus on the results, we focus on the process, focus on the basics, to do what is required to do as best as we can, and the rest followed. And the attitude, from the very beginning, we had an attitude that we will go all the way to manage this pandemic. And how we do it, how we did it actually, first by identifying the priorities. Health and safety of our people is the first priority of ours, then the business continuity. We made it very clear from the very beginning. And I really want you to think about this scenario as a war. So in a war, we do 2 things. First, we fight with our enemies. For that, we need to have an army. We need to raise an army. So fighting your enemy and raising and leading your army is 2 different things which require 2 different strategies. Let me start with strategies to fight with our enemy, which is the COVID-19 virus. So as you are very much aware, these are the 3 things that you're supposed to do to keep your virus away from you. So everything we did to make sure these 3 things. I call these defensive strategies. And this is the offensive strategy, vaccination. So every time we encourage our people to go and get themselves vaccinated, and we facilitated them, given transport, leave, and so on and so forth. Let me be more specific on our defensive strategies. Actually, we had a team, a central team to manage this, which was comprised of top management from the CEO, and also this was operationally led by the head of compliance, who had his teams in sites, his safety officers in sites, and the compliance division has got all the information from the sites, and all the decisions were taken by this committee. And we have conducted, our safety manager and compliance teams have visited all the sites. They have conducted awareness campaigns, trainings continuously. And when we do training, actually we focus on the science. If you ask our people to wear a mask, we said why you should wear a mask. And we have laid down policies and procedures for different scenarios. What if we should do if this happens? So likewise, everything was laid down and communicated vigorously to all corners of the company through different means like posters, like emails, and every meeting starts with COVID-related reminders. And we were actually very flexible and very agile when it comes to designing our policies and procedures as per the government regulations. But when it comes to practice, we were very much strict, and we had a zero tolerance policy for non-compliances. And also, you can't win this war without all your kings, lords, and knights fighting alongside with your armies in the battlefield. So, for instance, in our company, we have every day we used to take one site and review their COVID-related practices. For such meetings, even CEO and directors used to sit. That's the level of significance that we have given to this matter. And this, the bubble system is one of the main strategies that we use in most of the sites. In bubble system, what we did is actually to minimize casualties by minimizing contact. How we minimize contact? We identify people who used to work together with some contact. So then we group them together and we call them a bubble. So this is one of the bubble systems practice at one of our sites. So if you take first three bubbles, so they are based on the work location. So the others, for instance, those who do rebar were grouped together. Those who attached vacuum plant were grouped together. If you take one line, one bubble, they were given exclusive places to stay, toilet facilities, exclusive toilet facilities at worker quarters as well as in the sites. In all their working cycle, they were given exclusive facilities to minimize contact between bubbles. And this is one of our sites layout plan. We have given different rest areas, different washrooms for staff, for consultant, for workers, for different bubbles, get different toilet facilities. And there's only one person who is allowed to go and communicate with common facilities like stores and canteen. And then we have in places, whenever this bubble system is not practically possible, we use other strategies. Like in our head office, we operate through 2 buildings. We get 2 teams from each department placed in both buildings. So if one team gets affected, the other team can run without any issues. And we have used successfully this remote working from home with some monitoring mechanism. Also, we spend a lot on PPEs, personal protective equipment, sanitizing and disinfectant work, because that is important. And these are some of the common practices that we use in our sites, like PCR test, temperature checking, and so on and so forth. Let's focus on what we did, our strategies in leading our armies. So actually, we have addressed a lot of grievances. People had a lot of issues. Psychologically, they were stressed up. So we have given a hearing to these people. As HR, we extended a lot of support for transport, for accommodation, and many things. And we have created healthy and conducive environment as per the guidelines given by the government. And also, we kept the momentum. We didn't take this pandemic as an excuse for postponing, things. We have celebrated our 40th anniversary, and we had a grand ceremony to launch our business plan. We had Christmas and Vesak and all these things in the calendar. We have paid our employees on time. We have given increments, bonus, promotions, which has helped us motivate our staff. And we have raised our bar by encouraging people to come up with new innovative techniques and ideas. And we have recognized them accordingly. And also we have celebrated, as I explained, our achievements. And HR played a key role in becoming a catalyst in changing the culture, because now the way we operate 2 years ago and now is different. Before I conclude, I must give thanks to all the people in our organization, from chairman down to the last employee. They are the people who made it possible for me to come in front of you and make a case, hopefully worthy of listening. And that's it. Thank you. And I would like to answer if you have any queries. Thank you.
Mr. Gunathilaka, for that well-presented creative presentation. I think you captured the audience by showing a film at the onset. You used a lot of diagrams and pictures and presented in a very summarized way without much words. And also I saw you were using very carefully selected words like collective yet centralized decisions. So you, I think, weighed the wordings, because construction industry is the industry which is very labor intensive industry, which is important for the economy, adds value from top to the bottom of the income pyramid of a country. So I think during the COVID, the efforts of the human resource management has ensured the business continuity, ensuring the economic development of the country too. So I think very well done. I think it's a unique presentation. Keep it up. And sorry, the audience, we could not answer questions due to the time constraint, but I saw a question on organic fertilizer. Though we are not experts in organic fertilizer, I would say that they are asking Mr. Nalaka, I think, was asking whether what are the benefits. Of course, if we can produce organic food, the export, the value will be higher, and even the tourists will come. We can sell for more upmarket tourists to visit Sri Lanka, and even for other exports, it will have value because we are using organic things. So there will be benefits, and apart from health benefits, we can see like kidney and cancer diseases going down. So we have come to the end of the session. Case studies, I think, very well compiled case studies. Some were, I think, from the improvement side, the presentation would have been improved with, as I mentioned in the last presentation, it was a more model presentation. They would have captured, and also rather than presenting so many things, maybe unique things you would have done to for the contribution during COVID would have been highlighted, because some of the things are common for many organizations. And also one presentation, of course, was more generic than not on COVID, but of course they were covering a lot of important HR aspects. So with that, I think without much ado, I need to, hand over the session to Dr. Prabhashan, who is waiting there. So thank you very much, the presenters, the audience, the reviewers, the panelists, Mr. Ken Vijay Kumar and Mr. Priyantha Ranasinghe, and Dr. Prabhashini and Mr. Professor Prasadini Gamage and Mrs. Kamani Perra, staff of CIPM, and all the our event coordinators. Thank you very much and well done.
We have now come to the end of the case study presentations of the 5th CIPM International Research Symposium on Human Resource Management 2021, organized by the Standing Committee on Applied Research and Knowledge Center of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, Sri Lanka. So before we conclude, I wish to express my humble gratitude to the chairperson of the track, Mr. Janaka Kumarasinghe, and the co-chairs of the session, Mr. Ken Vijay Kumar and Mr. Priyantha Ranasinghe, for sparing their valuable time and joining with us today despite their very busy schedules. I'm sure the comments made by you have immensely encouraged the authors and the presenters who joined with us today to represent their respective organizations. I would also like to thank each and every presenter for the cooperation and support extended by you to conduct this session on the virtual platform. So thank you very much once again for your support. Over to you, Sharon.
Thank you to our dignitaries, and ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the conclusion of our symposium. The valedictory session is now going to take place. I have the real pleasure of inviting the chairperson of the 5th CIPM International Research Symposium, Professor in Human Resource Management, University of Kelaniya, Sri Lanka, Professor Prasadini Gamage, who will announce or declare the best paper, the best presenter winner. The moment that you've been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen, the announcement of these winners here at the 5th CIPM International Research Symposium on HRM 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, to announce the winner, here's Professor Prasadini Gamage.
Thank you, Sharon. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I warmly welcome all of you to the valedictory session of the 5th CIPM International Research Symposium on Human Resource Management 2021, organized by the Standing Committee on Applied Research and Knowledge Center of CIPM. I'm sure this is the most awaited session for especially our presenters. For this symposium, we got more than 70 research papers. After the rigorous double-blind review process, for every paper, 47 research papers were selected and presented under 7 tracks. Eminent academics did these reviews from local and international universities and institutions. I'm delighted to say all the 47 presenters have already become winners. Under each track, we have decided to choose 2 winners, the best paper and the best presenter. Respective track chairs and co-chairs made all these selections. I must be thankful to all of them for giving us excellent support during this entire process. Now I'm going to officially declare the best paper and the best paper presenter under each track. Let's go one by one. We had 7 tracks, and let's move on to track number 1. Let's see who is the best paper, who is the best author under track number 1. Best paper, the title is Relationship between Perceived Superiors Trust and the Job Satisfaction of Remote Working Employees, Evidence from a Leading Software Development Firm in Sri Lanka. Author is P.D. Karunaratne. Let's see who is the best presenter under the same track. The paper title, Impact of Non-Financial Rewards on Employee Job Satisfaction of Administrative Officers in Selected Universities in Sri Lanka. Presenter, N. Mathara Arachi. Let's move on to track number 2, best paper. Effect of role stress on turnover intention of non-executive staff in a selected hotel in Sri Lanka. Author, P.L.D. Narada Jayasinghe. Best paper presenter under the same track, Applicability of Artificial Intelligence for the Functions of Human Resource Management in Apparel Industry in Sri Lanka. Presenter, T.D. Veerasinghe. Track number 3, best paper, Impact of gender dominance of occupation on career choice of undergraduates, evidence from a national university in Sri Lanka. Author Janani Dias. Best paper presenter, impact of employment engagement on job satisfaction, study of the employees of a leading 5-star hotel in Sri Lanka. Presenter T.D. Veerasinghe. Track number 4. Best paper, impact of engaging student politics on undergraduates' academic performance, evidence from a national university in Sri Lanka. Author P.H.P. Dushmantha. Let's see who is the best paper presenter under the same track. Impact of financial and non-financial rewards on interns' motivation. Presenter KDDC Mihirani. Let's move on to track number 5. Best paper. The performance evaluation mechanism on job satisfaction of production associates, case study of manufacturing company. Author Vimansani Bandara Vijayasuriya. Best paper presenter. An empirical study of the factors affecting employees' performance at ABC group of companies. Presenter Nenturan Nagaraj. Track number 6. Best paper, impact of mindfulness on work-life balance, a study of executive level employees in Central Bank of Sri Lanka. Author Sachitra Dilshani. Best paper presenter under the same track, impact of employee mindfulness on employee performance. Author E.M. Sammadi Edirisinghe. Let's move on to the last track, track number 7. Best paper, impact of third-party logistic services on the user satisfaction level. Authors H.M.P.K. Herat and C. Visoisa. Best paper presenter, influence of TQM practices on employees' turnover intention in the Sri Lankan apparel industry. Presenters G. Netushika Samudani Aponsu. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Sri Lanka, let me congratulate all those winners. For this symposium, we added another new feature by considering the theme of the symposium, World Crisis and Future of Work. We invited the corporate sector to share their success stories during the pandemic by changing their HR strategy. We got more than 10 case studies, and finally, 7 case studies were selected to present at this symposium. As a nation's leader in HR, CIPM recognizes their best practices during the pandemic. Let me read the names of those successful organizations and case study presenters now. Case study number 1. Because we are not going to select the best case study because they have already become successful even during this pandemic period. Case study number 1. Human capital management in Haley's plantations beyond concepts, theories, and dreams. Presenter Anuruddha Tithagala Gamage. Case study number 2. Challenges and the roles of HRM professionals during the post-pandemic of COVID-19. A case paper with reference to Hambanthoda International Port Group Private Limited. Presenters Jeevan Premasara, Buddhika Sandaruwan, Hasita Lakmal. Case study number 3. Challenges and the roles of HRM professionals during the post-pandemic of COVID-19. Case study from Sri Lanka Telecom. Presenter, engineer, KPW, Asiri Indika. Case study number 4. COVID-19 preventive interventions of Samson Rubber Industries Private Limited, DSI Tires. Mr. Amita Kumara Lokuvitanage from Samson Rubber Industries Private Limited, Sri Lanka. Case study number 5. Challenges and the roles of human resource management professionals in government during the pandemic of COVID-19. Special attention to Territory and Vocational Education Commission, Dr. Dilrukshi Hera. Case study number 6. Strategic directives for industry risk mitigation during COVID-19 pandemic. A case review in tiles manufacturing company in Sri Lanka, Atula Heva Patirana. Case study number 7. Our experience in battling COVID-19 pandemic at ICC Private Limited, a case from a Sri Lankan construction company, GGTY Gunatilaka. So we have come to the end of the valedictory session of the 5th CIPM International Research Symposium on Human Resource Management 2021. Let me congratulate all the winners, all the presenters, and wish you all good luck in all your future endeavors. Hope to see you all at the 6th CIPM International Research Symposium on Human Resource Management in 2022. Have a pleasant evening. Thank you very much.
There's a thing from your country that I'm totally hooked on. And I am not talking about your tea.
Lanka Tiles, the Sri Lankan tile with a global following.
This is one way of showing convenience, and My SLT is just another name for convenience. Services here, there, and everywhere. Now brought onto My SLT. Access all of SLT Mobitel services through one app. SLT Mobitel, the connection.
Ladies and gentlemen, as concluding remarks and also to propose the vote of thanks of the 5th CIPM International Research Symposium on HRM 2021, please join me in welcoming Mrs. Kamani Pereira, the Manager of Research and Development at CIPM.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this scholarly event to all dignitaries assembled here. First of all, I would like to thank our chief guest, Senior Professor Sampath Amaratunga, Chairman, University of Grant Commission in Sri Lanka, who honored us this research symposium with his inspirational thoughts. Next, I would like to express our gratitude to Dr. Akhil Basrai, keynote speaker from India, for his valuable contribution. We are grateful to CIPM President, Mr. Jayant Amarasinghe, and the members of Executive Council, CIPM Directorate, Mr. Obesekara, Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Veeratunga, Chief Officer, Director, Professional and Academic Affairs, and the CIPM colleagues who supported us in numerous ways for the success of this event. And I would like to extend my gratitude to eminent panel members, track chairs and co-chairs of technical sessions and case study session, and our erudite panel of reviewers and our co-sponsors. I wish to extend my heartfelt heartfelt gratitude to our presenters. Without your presence, we could not have accomplished success of this scholarly event. And also our audience who made this academic function as a grand success. Finally, no words to express our gratitude to our energetic, committed, intellectual standing committee who worked as a team under the guidance of our pillar, chairperson of the Research Symposium, Professor Prasadini Gamage, who led us for grand success. On behalf of the committee, thank you so much, Professor. It's a pleasure working with you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Words of true team spirit being spoken there. Thank you very much, Mrs. Kamani Pereira, Manager Research and Development at CIPM. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, we conclude the 5th CIPM International Research Symposium on HRM 2021. Congratulations to the organizing committee, the Standing Committee on Applied Research and Knowledge Center, together with the chairperson and the entire team. Until we see you next year, we'd like to wish you all the very best and keep in touch with CIPM. Keep posted with the updates that's coming up and the events, and we look forward in seeing you soon. Stay safe and take care.